Are you tired of feeling tired? Are you struggling with vitality and constantly feeling burnt out? Or does your body just not feel great? Well, join hosts Monique Bradley and advocate for natural medicine, Lunette Hill from My Remedy, as they explore the issues, interview industry professionals, and share bite-sized tips on how to own your health. And tonight, joining us on the couch and in the kitchen is naturopath, nutrition coach and chef, Amy Lynn. It's Health Bites, bite-sized pieces of health and wellness information so you can own your health. Hello and welcome to the All Fix TV studio. It's Monique Bradley here again this week, and on the couch, the amazing registered naturopath, I hope that's the correct term.
That's correct.
Lunette Hill from My Remedy. Lunette, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good tonight, much better than last week.
Okay, excellent. So we've got one episode under the belt.
Yes.
Obviously, there's been a huge amount of feedback from our first episode. And for you, you're starting to see a lot more people in your clinic as well. What has the response been since we've opened this can of worms and started talking about natural medicine and started talking about owning our health? What's that conversation been like for you?
It's been really good because so many people don't actually understand that they weren't healthy or that their health could be so much better. So we've had a lot of people coming to us and saying, oh, thank goodness that, this
So
is
true.
actually abnormal and there's something I can do about it. And it's easy. We're not not frightened to get in touch.
No, that's what I think I love about natural medicine as well. It's such a gentle approach to wellness. Now, one of the key questions that actually came out from people who messaged me when they heard that these episodes were going to go to air is, what actually is natural medicine?
Okay, that's really simple. It's natural. It's usually plant-based, food-based, mineral-based. It's not synthetic. So generally it's not created from chemicals, or it's different to a drug, for example.
Right.
And food works to nourish you and correct things, whereas medicine, which is so important,
Yes.
that works to switch things on or switch things off, which are very, very necessary.
Okay, this is good to know. Now, do remember we are live here in the All Fix TV studio. I've got the news feeds here. I can see a whole bunch of you are watching tonight. Ursula Porte, I hope I got that name right, said, "Me, you are so amazing." Oh, it's great to have feedback like this.
That's
Look,
cool.
we're great
Hey,
to have you
Ursula.
watching the feed there, Ursula. It's good to have you with us. Now, I think for me, one of the biggest things we learnt from last week's show is that so many people mentioned the effects of stress when it comes to their gut health.
Yes.
How common is this that you're seeing in clinic?
It's every single day.
Wow.
Yeah. So by the time people come to a naturopath, usually, although we are hoping to and starting to see people who come before that point to say, don't let me get there, but most people are already stressed. So whether or not it's from their condition or
Yes.
from life, and that's creating a gut condition. But what we feel in our head, we also feel in our gut. One day we might talk into the vagus nerve, which is just a big connector
That sounds cool.
of both. But yeah, stress has a huge part. And last week we talked about fight or flight and rest and digest.
Rest and digest.
So
yeah.
if you're fight or flight here, then you're not resting and digesting here. So it's very important that those two things can toggle on and off to be healthy.
Right, so obviously if you have just joined the show for the first time, this month we are actually focusing on one particular topic for the entire month. And that topic is in fact gut health. So something that I've really been learning about gut health is that your gut is apparently like your second brain. And I just want to talk to you a little bit more about this point. This is something that came out in the conversation last week, Lunette. Tell me a little bit more about why is the gut classified as the second brain? A good question, right?
Oh, that's such a curly question. Again, that's basically a whole half-hour interview.
Okay.
But our everything that goes on in our gut can be represented. Our brain doesn't have any pain sensors. So if we've got an unhealthy gut, we've got little junctions, tight junctions that may open up, and then we get stuff going through into our bloodstream, goes through our blood-brain barrier, and it can actually activate what are called, they're chemicals in our brain, and those cause excitement, and then we get issues such as, anxiety and maybe headaches and
Wow.
brain fog and things like that. So that's probably a very simple way of saying how the gut affects the brain, and equally the brain affects the gut as well. So often people will say, I'm really, really stressed and I feel it all in my gut. So
yes, of course.
Yeah.
I know that feeling as well, having worked in media for a long time. There's that. Something I used to pass off as nerves, like that nervous tummy. For me, that would, I feel like we're friends now, so for me that would end up in diarrhea.
Oh, lovely.
Perfect.
Thanks for sharing that,
You're
Monique.
welcome. I'm opening that conversation up early on in the show.
There's nothing off limits on this show.
Yes. Now, Miranda Sophie actually just said, ha, ha, ha. And then she said, glad it was a helpful comment last week. Yes, Miranda, that was such a great, it was such a great quote. That's something I really picked up from that last week's conversation. And I've had so many people message me about that same topic. It was a really new term to them as well. And also hearing from people in the comments feed about for them, suffering from anxiety or extreme stress, grief, trauma, and how that really affected their stomach and vice versa.
And vice versa.
It was mind-blowing.
And it's interesting because Miranda's a chiropractor, so she's working with the nervous system. And so she could, one day maybe we get her on here and she can really speak into how the brain and the nervous system corresponds at the gut.
Perfect.
So really good.
I think that's great. I'm just checking the news feed as well. Sajid Khan, hello to you. Sajid, I hope I said that right, just said, good program. Look, thank you so much. We're here to provide as much information as we possibly can, but I do have to share something from the legal perspective of what the show can and can't do. So we are here to help you on your own health journey, or if you've got somebody you care about in your life and they're having a few challenges with their own health, get them to watch this show. This show is not here to give you a diagnosis. It is here to inform you about the options available and to allow you to ask questions about those options. We will not and cannot give you a medical advice or diagnose disease while we are live. And it is important that if you do have any medical concerns, please contact your medical professional. However, what we can do while we're here in the studio and while we're live is we can have a conversation with you. And if there's something that we can't help you with tonight, or if it's something that needs to be diagnosed, we can steer you in the right direction to help you on your health journey. That's what Health Bites is all about, right?
That's what it's all about.
Okay, so we are talking about gut health here in the studio. So first of all, natural medicine, it's a big deal. It's not just about naturopathy or homeopathy. What modalities does natural medicine cover?
Well, naturopathy, homeopathy, medical herbalism, even nutrition, diet, lifestyle. You've got Reiki, you've got massage, you've got chiropractic care, you've got anything that is not medical, as in diagnosed by a doctor.
Right.
So it's all of those things that we use to keep ourselves healthy. Counselling.
I was going to say, how important is our mental health and our emotional health in this whole sort of forum? That's important too.
Absolutely, because if you, sometimes I'll say I'll be looking at someone's blood through HemoView and it's looking great, but there's all this stuff going on in their life. There's an issue with a relationship or something that needs to be sorted, and no amount of probiotics or vitamin C is going to help that.
Yes.
So, the mental picture is really important in all health. All health.
So I've seen a few comments come through over the week. I've had people personally message me since we went live. People saying to me questions like, and here's a big one, and I wrote it down. I eat well, why don't I feel well?
I would hear that in clinic every single day. And sometimes it's because the food may be good food, but it's not good food for you.
Wow.
Or maybe your gut is so unhealthy that it's not receiving anything as a good message, or you're so caught up in your stress and everything that's going on that you're not switching off. So there can be a whole range of reasons that you eat well and you don't feel well.
So in that situation, what does someone do? That's another 30-minute interview
You're
in itself.
asking really curly questions.
Thank you.
So what most people do is talk to their friends. Most people look in and say, well, what am I doing? Is it what I'm eating? Shall I just stop eating that? What we suggest you do is ask somebody who's trained to help you. So obviously for me, I'd be saying come and see a naturopath or a nutritionist or a chiropractor if it might be something structural. Maybe you haven't actually felt right since that accident where you get the whiplash. Maybe things are not connecting properly. So I go and find somebody quickly who can help you, like with a car. If you're driving along and you get a little light go off, generally you go, yikes, what's that? And you might look up on Google what it is. At that point, you would go to a mechanic, usually.
Right. Ask Dr. Google.
Yeah. So we say, have a quick look, ask around, but if you can't work it out, go and see an expert in that field.
Excellent. Now, Sophia Caruso just said that. Emoji. Thank you. Great to see you on the show. And I believe a whole bunch of other people have started sharing this show. That's what the show is about. Please share this with all your friends and all of your family, because we really do want to share the message of natural medicine with the entire world and get people really owning their health. Now, at this stage of the conversation, I'd really love to recap on something that was really important from last week's show, and that was this idea of the health ladder. Now, this is a really interesting theory to me. Now, we've got some screens to show you about Lunette's philosophy around health and what she's seeing when people come into the clinic. So Lunette, let's talk through the health ladder.
Okay, so usually we see people who are somewhere near the top of the ladder by the time they come into clinic. So they're already waving around and a bit wobbly with disorder.
Right.
So what we try to do as naturopaths is start right at the bottom with your feet firmly on the ground in your diet and your lifestyle. Your finances are good, your relationships are, reasonably good. And that's where we want you to be. It's nice and easy to stay there. Sometimes we need a little bit of help, and I call that condensed nutrients, like vitamins and maybe a probiotic if there's been some medical intervention, antibiotics or anything like that. Really helpful. So sometimes we need a multivitamin or something just to keep us better.
Right.
Then we get up onto that third level of suboptimal health. Oh, no, that's the next layer, isn't it?
The next layer
I'm climbing up the ladder really, really fast. The next ladder is where we're starting to get some dysfunction. So we may have some bloating, we might be starting to get headaches, or sleep's becoming a little bit hit and miss. Energy's going down, maybe something's showing on the skin. Now, often we'll go and get ourselves checked out at this point, or we'll go to Google as well. And we'll find out that, hey, look, we haven't got disease, so, you're fine. Well, you're not fine if you feel like that. So this is when we say this is a really good opportunity to go and get someone who's, a professional in their field, a naturopath, a herbalist, a homeopath, a chiropractor, the list goes on.
Right.
To have a look at you and see what they can do to make some changes through diet and lifestyle and maybe supplementation.
That's good to know.
And then the final level of the ladder is where you don't want to be, but often it's the first time we see people. You're at the top of the ladder, you've got diagnosed disease, you're wobbling around and feeling really unsafe, and we need you to be under medical care at this point and to follow their advice. We can work alongside at that point and support the body either to work well with the medication, to help with some of the side effects, and even to improve your health a little bit through diet and lifestyle. So maybe you can come down a rung or two and just feel a little bit more confident.
Right, because obviously where we really want to be, oh, that's a picture of HemoView, by the way. We're going to cut to that in just a second. Obviously where we want to be is back with our feet firmly on the ground, right? No wobbly ladder.
Yes, nice and easy. Maybe hanging on to the ladder.
Okay, hanging on to the ladder. Okay, so HemoView, which is the image you got a flash of before, HemoView is one of the tools that a naturopath may use to look at what's going on with the blood. Tell me about this. Do you have to take a pint of blood to do it? No.
No, I actually don't like blood or needles or anything like that, so it's quite weird that I work with it. So at my remedy, the clinic I have, we have 2 HemoView therapists there, so we do this, and we also provide it to all of our practitioners to utilise. So it's just a pinprick of blood. So like when you take a diabetes pinprick.
Gotcha.
Yeah, really, really, even you could do it and not faint, I think.
Okay, that's perfect, because I am a bit squeamish.
Yeah. So we put that little drop of blood onto a very high-powered dark field microscope, so it has light coming through it, and it gives us this image here.
Okay,
where
we're just going to cut to that.
Yeah, so we
Perfect.
can see there the red blood cells, which are the ones that look like O's.
Yes.
And we can see things like chylous material, which are the fats either from the diet or what's coming out of the liver. And this picture here is of platelet aggregation, which is quite a large one, and that's that big fuzzy bit in the middle with the line through it.
Yes.
And that's called hypersecretory, which means it's got bubbles around the side of it. Now, if you were coming in and I saw that in your blood, I'd be asking you questions like, how's your gut? Have you got some bloating? Is there, a few sugar cravings going on here? Are you starting to notice that maybe foods aren't so great? And this blood here is showing that there is aggravation at the gut level and some inflammation. And also if the cells are not lovely and all the same size. So we know that either the nutrition isn't great in the first place, or the nutrition might be good and the gut's not absorbing things in the way it should. So I eat well, why don't I feel well?
That answers that question.
That one. Yeah.
Okay, so with HemoView, can you tell if somebody has an intolerance or an allergy? Because they're two different things, is that right?
They're very, very different. So an allergy is something that if you have your body has a registered response to an allergen, and it's an allergic response. So some people are allergic to bee stings.
Grapefruit. So as soon as I have a grapefruit, within half an hour I've got hives.
Hives, that's right. Whereas an intolerance is usually, my gut's not working so well, maybe I don't process lactose or gluten too well, and I feel it and I know it.
Okay.
And so they're quite different. So with HemoView, with an intolerance, we will see more hypersecretory platelets and different white blood cells. With an allergy, it's all about the white blood cells.
Wow, that's totally amazing. I've learnt more even now, and it's really good having you all on the stream too. Joanna Vincent just said hi. Hello to you, Jo. And Lynn Marie Goosen Stanley, I hope I said that correctly, just said you're amazing, Lunette.
Oh, thanks, Lynn Marie.
That is so cool. Well, look, I think that is totally amazing, and we are going to head into the kitchen. We've got a special guest in the kitchen who is going to show you a great recipe, which I believe is going to work beautifully with your gut. Yes. In the meantime, I'm really excited to announce that we are working on this show in association with the wonderful people at Power Clinic. So let's take a look at a little bit of behind the scenes at Power Clinic.
Welcome to Power Clinic. I'm Robin Carruthers, the Clinic Director. The Power Clinic is a student clinic at the South Pacific College of Natural Medicine. We've got two main functions here. One is to give our students a really good educational experience. They're the ones who staff the clinic, and they are supervised by experienced practitioners, naturopaths and medical herbalists. Our other role, which is more important, is to provide the community with affordable natural health care. So we have free visits for under 6-year-old children and for people over 65, and our other adult normal fees are heavily subsidised. We see a whole range of people here at Power Clinic, people who've got just minor health complaints, who want to look at a wellness plan, right through to people who are on a range of medications and have quite serious health conditions. A lot of people think with natural health care that if you're taking medications, you can't go to a naturopath. But in fact, we're very careful to take that into account and to work around it and support people while they are taking medications that they need to take. So if this sounds like it might be of interest to you, please give us a call and we'll look forward to seeing you and to helping you on your health journey.
And if you want to find more out about Power Clinic, we'll share some of the details with you after this presentation. But for now, I'm actually in the kitchen with this gorgeous goddess. This is Amy Lynn, who's also from My Remedy. Now, she is an expert in nutrition. Yeah, and food. You're a chef, for goodness sake, so you know a lot about food. And you're also a naturopath.
Yes.
Now, I find that interesting. If you're already a trained chef and you opened the first raw food cafe here in Auckland, is that right?
I did, yeah.
And you've moved over into naturopathy. Let's talk about letting food be thy medicine, because I did read that somewhere.
Yeah.
Amy, yes, of course. So first of all, Amy, tell everybody watching a little bit about you and what you do.
Well, you pretty much said it.
Okay.
But yes, I'm a naturopath. I also am a chef, so I'm trying to bring the two worlds together and educate people on good food and nutrition, obviously, which is all about, so that they can lead a healthier life and not have to take 1,000 pills.
That's what we all want, because we don't have a handbag big enough for 1,000 pills, let's be honest. So Amy, you've done a lot of work around the country or around the world?
Yes, around the world.
Around the world with food.
Yeah.
Now, what I want to know is, I know you've done a lot of work, say, at retreats and creating, is it just raw food or is it a variety of food?
Originally it started off with raw food, but discovered that sometimes that's not so good for certain guts. So we do bring in a lot of vegan food as well, so cooked vegan, but mainly raw food. Yeah.
See, that's really interesting. I'd be really interested to know too, if you're watching, have you tried a raw food diet? How's that worked for you? We'd love to hear your feedback, because this is as much about us being here as it is about having you as part of that conversation. So send us in your thoughts, and we'd love to know what you eat and how that affects your wellness. So Amy, when you're working with clients, what is the normal thing you're seeing with their dietary challenges?
Well, there's plenty of things that make the gut go funny.
Yeah.
And gluten and dairy, as we know, are the two big ones that can imbalance things there, which are hard for people to cut out, especially bread. It seems to be the #1 thing that people love to eat.
Yes.
But even sometimes coffee can be too much. You know, some of us drink like 5 coffees a day. You know, just trying to bring everything into balance.
What does a lot of coffee do to the gut?
Well, it can give it inflammation.
Wow.
Everyone can digest differently, but sometimes when you're not getting enough nutrition, coffee can just make things worse. It can malabsorb you as well, so you're not actually absorbing
that's incredible.
your nutrients. Yeah.
Wow, learning a lot tonight.
And then the liver has to overwork and like get all those toxins out and whatnot. Yeah.
Wow.
Everything in moderation.
Everything in moderation, I totally agree. Now, Amy, you do a lot of work at retreats as well. So when people come to those retreats, what are they coming for? Is it because of food allergies or intolerances, or what are their goals, and what sort of results do you get?
Well, surprisingly, people do come to those kind of retreats to find their wellness. They know they're imbalanced, whether it be mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and they just want to either get away from society for a week, right? Or mainly it's about getting back on track. A lot of it's weight loss as well.
Okay.
Yeah, but you always can intuitively know when there's something not quite right inside, although we ignore it. But that is like all those reasons people go to retreats, just to like turn off and reset their buttons.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so what are the physical results you're seeing?
Amazing weight loss is the #1.
Yep.
Yeah. And just even having your bowel movements flow nicely.
We like that.
Yeah.
We like that a lot.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes people can lose up to 6 or 7 kgs in just 1 week of having.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
Just saying.
It's like cutting out all of those processed foods, and gluten and dairy and sugar is a big one as well. Just cutting that out for 1 week, you'll see amazing results. Can you imagine what you do if you 6 weeks after 6 weeks?
I would be a complete goddess then. So Amy's very kindly come into the kitchen today to show you something you can make in your own home. Super easy to make, and it's really good for your gut. What are you making?
Well, fermented foods is a big thing at the moment.
That's right.
Which is good. You know, people are waking up and understanding that it's good for us. So today I'm just going to make some coconut kefir and coconut yogurt.
I was going to say, what is kefir?
Yeah. So a kefir is when you add a probiotic to a liquid. So you can actually do water, you can do dairy kefir, or you can do coconut. So I prefer coconut because there's no dairy. So
right.
Even though when you do add probiotics to it, like a milk, it does eat the sugar.
Right.
So it's a lot more easier to digest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So even people who are lactose intolerant can sometimes handle kefir because the probiotics is eating the sugar, which is usually what people have the intolerance to.
Whoa!
Yeah.
This is mind-blowing. Wow.
Yeah. And then so the probiotics eat the sugar, but they also put in good things into the water. So it's like full, the coconut water is full of probiotics after it's been fermented.
This is mind-blowing. So I'd love to know if any of you watching tonight, if you if you eat fermented food, I know it's been a big food trend at the moment. People like it and they like the health benefits.
Yeah.
So I'd love to know if you make fermented food in your kitchen. If so, share a recipe, or be part of this conversation, because we love having you on board. Yeah. Okay, let's do this.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay, so I've actually pre-cracked a couple of coconuts.
Okay, cool.
Just in case.
And you just get these from your supermarket?
Yes, I highly recommend using fresh coconuts. The taste is completely different. It's really fresh and clean. So I pre-cracked a couple of coconuts. I poured the liquid into here, and I've kept the meat of the coconut in here, which we will blend up in a second. So this is 2 coconuts, and I got about 500 mils of coconut
So you
water.
just scrape it out with a spoon?
Yeah. So you crack the coconut, you pour the liquid into a container. This is some of the coconut water.
It's so pure as well. Look at it.
Yeah, exactly. It's pure. You know exactly what's in there. A lot of the coconut waters on the market, well, probably all of them, have been pasteurized. So pretty much you're killing a lot of the enzymes even before you get it into your glass.
I didn't know that. One thing I did know is that some of the coconut waters have added sugar and things like that. So they're not quite as good for you, are they? Well, we can't say that, but it's everything in moderation.
You're getting, you know what you're getting right from the coconut.
True.
Yeah. So, and it hasn't been pasteurized.
Right. So if somebody is going to look at buying coconut kefir, what sort of price are they going to pay?
Yeah.
If it's all processed and things like that, what's the retail?
It's quite expensive. So coconut kefir, just for a 300 ml bottle, is about $25.
Oh, sausages, eggs, and chips. It's a better thing to say than swear. Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
And yet, how much will this cost you for around the same amount?
Well, right now the coconuts, this was $5, but you can get them down to $2.50. You can get them from your local supermarket.
And even the markets, the farmers markets in the weekend often have them as well.
Yeah, you want to go for a young coconut though. You have to make sure that you get the young coconut, not the mature coconut, because it's hard. The meat in the mature one is quite hard. Okay. And you can't really scrape it out to make yogurt. Yeah. That has other purposes.
Okay, perfect.
But yeah, so it's a lot cheaper. And then with the coconut yogurt, which we'll get to next, $15 for a small...
So expensive. And if you're wanting to look after your health by adding something like this into your diet, I mean, most people don't have $15 to spend on coconut yogurt.
What if you wanted to buy kefir and coconut yogurt? That's a big deal.
That's your whole budget plan for the week. Okay, so you scrape out the coconut flesh or the coconut meat. You get all your coconut liquid,
which I've poured it into here.
I want to call it juice, but it's not really a juice. It's a coconut water.
Water. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So what I've done is poured. So you need a nice jar like this. Make sure everything's clean. So I have poured the liquid, which looks like that. Yep. Into here, and the only thing you need to do is get a probiotic, and this one's dairy free.
Good.
To go with the whole thing, and
open it up.
Open it.
Even I can do that.
Put it in there. Yeah, very, very easy.
And so you leave that to ferment on your bench? You don't put it in a fridge or anything like that?
No, you need room temperature, even slightly warm if you can. So in the hot water cupboard is always nice.
Wow. And how long do you leave it?
If it's a warm environment, probably about 24 hours will be enough. But if it's still like wintry and you're leaving it on your bench, I'd say 48 hours.
That is amazing.
And it's going to turn a white color as well. So you know it's done when it's white and it's bubbly.
Excellent. So there you go. Nice and easy to make. So that's going to be great for you. It's going to taste good as well.
I always call it like a raw champagne.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's nicely served in the champagne glass. You can put some strawberries in there. And
perfect. Yeah. It sounds great. Yeah. I like it a lot.
Yeah, so that's going to do its thing on the bench for 2 days.
And then the coconut yogurt.
Yes. So the coconut yogurt, when you buy it in the supermarket, hasn't been made from coconut milk. And that, again, has been processed. Wow. So you get a very different flavor as well. I mean, if you know like coconut milk, what coconut milk tastes like, you're actually just having that with thickened, coconut milk with the probiotic in it. However, I find that coconut meat straight from the coconut has such a different flavor, and it's so clean and pure, and it's not overwhelming. I'm not sure if you've tried coconut yogurt from the supermarket, but it's really heavy, and you can't.
It is very thick.
Yeah. It's
you just want a tablespoon and you're done.
yeah, exactly. But this is a little lighter. So coconut meat from the coconuts, and you just put it straight into a blender, and then
you blend it. Add your probiotic.
Yeah.
I never thought of doing anything like that, adding those condensed nutrients, as Lunette would call it, into your food. That's such a genius idea.
Yeah, and it's so simple and easy, and you can just keep them going. And that's another thing actually about coconut kefir. You can make one batch, and then you save a little bit, about that much from each batch, and then you can use that to start your new one. So you actually, so your money goes a lot further because you're using already the mother or the starter of, it's like sourdough. You know, you can just keep using. Yeah,
this
you
just
can use
keeps
it
on
for
going and
7
going.
times. Yeah, so that saves you money there as well.
That's great.
You just need to invest in the probiotics. But I'm just saving a little bit of coconut water to help blend it. So I'm just gonna like put a little bit in there to get it going, and it's going to be loud for a second.
Okay. I'd be interested to know how many of you would love to try this recipe as well. Because you can go. You can go. Yeah, go for it. And how if you would try it, I think we need to switch it on at the wall. If you would give it a go, and if so, we'd love to know what the flavour's like for you if you want to try it over the next week. We love hearing from you here at the show. It's great to have you guys with us and part of the community. So the first thing I have to tell you is the smell is beautiful. It's very aromatic and delicious. Oh yeah, that's great. That is really nice.
So that is like the consistency of coconut milk, right? So you just pour that into your jar.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and leave that on the bench for 2 days as well, and it will ferment. It'll get a little bit of a tang to it, and it's just, you know exactly what's in there. It's
so
fresh.
then after 2 days, would you store it in the fridge?
Yes. So once it's fermented, you put it in the fridge. Otherwise, it'll just keep fermenting. And it still does slightly in the fridge as well, but very, very slowly. Yeah. So this is a base for so many things. You can put fruit. You can put chia seed jam in there. You can, do anything with that. And you've just got two products out of one coconut.
One coconut.
Well, two of what made all that, but yeah.
Look, that's amazing. Amy, thank you for being in the kitchen with us today. I know you're going to join us on the couch in just a moment so we can talk a little bit more into gut health. Yeah. But I want to know what your thoughts are. It's a pretty exciting time here at the show where we get to help you on your journey with gut health. So if you want to know more, make sure you hop onto the news feed. Just trying to find the right screen here for you. Hop onto the news feed and be part of the conversation, because we want to know how we can work with you to find your way to wellness. Amy, thank you so much. Nice and easy recipe. That's what we love.
Yes.
All right, let's take a look at what we've got coming up. First of all, we want to introduce you to the amazing work that the team at My Remedy do. Have you considered that symptoms may be the outward sign of something deeper and can just be the body's way of perhaps saying, help me? Have you considered that? The great news is that even small changes from the inside out, as we just found out from our chat with Amy Lynn, can affect your whole health outcome. So, are you ready to make some positive health changes? At My Remedy, the team of qualified and registered naturopaths are there to help you with any condition, and each has their specialty. This is Jo. She's a specialist in gut health. This is Jorge. His specialty is allergies, eczema and asthma, and featured in last week's episode. So if you want to know more, check out that show in our news feed. This is Lunette. She's a specialist in adrenal fatigue and immune conditions. This is Mike. His area of expertise is cardiovascular and men's health. Amy, who you've just met, is about optimal health through nutrition and naturopathic principles. And this is Kate, who's a registered homeopath. Stephanie talks to your mind. She's a clinical hypnotherapist. Because at My Remedy, then registered homeopaths and hypnotherapists are there to help you with the deepest challenges to your health, whether it's your beliefs, fears, habits, or behaviour. So if you're ready to create better health for you and your family, try a different approach. Visit myremedy.co.nz or give them a call, 09 486 2175. My Remedy, It's your remedy. Right, we're back on the couch, a big shift around. And look, it's an exciting time. We've been in the kitchen. We're talking about gut health. So if you have just joined us tonight, welcome. We're in the Your Fix TV show. I'm Monique Bradley for Your Fix TV, Lunette Hill from My Remedy, and Amy Lynn also from My Remedy. Look, I'm just having a look. There's some great questions coming through. So I thought it's a good time to have a look at the news feed. Thanks all for being part of the conversation. Jane Wan said, I hate coconut. Is there anything else? A great question.
That is a good question. There's more people out there that don't like coconuts than I think, actually. There's sauerkraut, there's kimchi, you can ferment, you can make your own gingered carrots and stuff like that. So many
gingered carrots.
Yeah, so because vegetables actually carry a small amount of bacteria on them, which is what the probiotics love. So when you put the probiotics with those types of food, it eats it and turns it into something good and digestible and full of goodness.
Oh, we love that.
So carrot yogurt.
Carrot yogurt.
I love floating my boat.
Why not?
Now, Joanna Vincent just said, can you flavour it?
The coconut
yogurt.
Of course, yeah.
What can you put in there? Serving suggestions?
You can put fruit in it. You can put vanilla in it. You can put a dash of maple syrup if you need a little bit of sweet in there.
Pineapple.
Yeah, all sorts. You just be the creator. You can put whatever you want.
And you could go savoury with it too, couldn't you? So you could put it in a soup or something.
You can.
Sort of
yeah,
savoury.
Absolutely. You can add any ginger to it. Just got to get creative. Yeah, it's a base for so many things that you can use for vegan creams.
Of course. Amazing. Now, I've just had, this is so good. Great to see your questions, everybody. Raja Chetan, who is amazing, he watches all of our shows. He's actually over in Kashmir in India. Now, he was part of the conversation last week when we were talking about the effects of stress on the gut. Now, Raja just said raw food diet was amazing. Only thing going on the gas stove was chicken to be boiled or eggs. Rest was all nuts. Fruit salad, soya chunks, sprouts, a lot less salt. I felt amazing. And he's learning my weight. His skin changed. It started becoming clean and no sugar at all. And apparently he had puffy cheeks and his puffy cheeks went. And that's through a raw food diet. Yeah,
it's amazing the results that people get from changing their diet. It's just amazing. Okay, I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it.
It gives the body a break, doesn't it? Yeah. It says it's not so hard. Let's just have a break. We get what we need without all that extra inflammation in the body.
Exactly. Yeah, because we're so used to just having food so readily available. Processed foods, sugar, and actually.
I wonder how many people actually know how it feels to not feel bloated and inflamed, because a lot of our diets start with those really inflammatory foods from a really young age, and it's quite hard to turn the clock back, particularly for teenagers, Hey, no, let's not eat this, let's eat raw foods. So, the more that we can start eating in those good ways and having more raw foods as a normal part of our diet, the easier it's going to be for optimal health into the long term.
Yeah. And it's not just about raw food either. Like you can have, raw vegan diet as well. And I'm not necessarily saying that's the right and only way to go, but it does give the digestion a little bit of a break as well when you just...
Even for a moment.
Yeah. Yeah. I noticed some changes happened to me when I was in my late teens, actually. I didn't used to eat vegetables at all when I was a kid.
I think that's pretty common.
I know, and there's probably a lot of parents who are out there going, I hear you. But I was that problem child, and my mother actually, and I noticed some of our Indian friends are watching. Thank you, it's awesome to see you here. My mother started Indian cookery to learn how to make delicious food.
To learn how to hide food.
To hide food, which was loaded with vegetables and nutrition. So aloo gobi was the first dish I ate that had potatoes and cauliflower.
And peas?
No, you're probably thinking of like mutton paneer.
Oh, yes. I'm always thinking of food. and the thing is, it's not all about raw food. You don't need to go out and actually, become squirrel and rabbit-like. You can cook your food. It's about whole food and real food, so that when you look at your plate, you go, well, that's, that was meat and it is meat now, or that is a vegetable, and it's not just something that we unpeeled and went and what on earth is that food-like stuff on my plate?
Such a good point. Such
And I'd like to add to that, as a lot of times today, people are like on their phone while they're eating, or they're not sitting down and just actually resting while they're eating. They're always on the go, which can cause digestive issues as well. So they're like in a hurry. So it's like a combination of being mindful when you're eating, or just shutting everything off.
We talked about that last week, about having an actual lunch break. How often do we actually do that?
Yeah.
Or are we trapped
eating
to
on
our
the
computers? Great questions coming back. Oh, hello, Andy Crawford, who's just joined tonight's show. Lovely to have you with us. Danielle Kelly said, so awesome. Thanks for sharing about that recipe. Wonderful. Christopher Hill said, what are your thoughts on adding birch xylitol to the yogurt? It's been shown to have prebiotic effects, like feeding the friendly bacteria in the gut. Seems like they go hand in hand.
Well, you can. Why not?
Okay, there you go.
Hi, Chris.
I'm not a big fan of xylitol, but it's better than sugar. So if you want to do that, that's fine. I would recommend maple syrup over anything because I'm Canadian. But actually, there is nutrition in maple syrup. So if you're going to choose something sweet, I would go for those options, like even date paste or... maple syrup, even rice malt syrup people use. I'm also
there's a kumara paste that's now being produced by a company up in Orewa. Kumara paste would probably be really nice.
Oh, kumara would be fantastic.
Sweet. Yeah, why not? Get creative with it. Yeah, yacon syrup as well has nutrition.
Oh wow.
Yeah, xylitol.
What about stevia?
Stevia is great. Yes, a lot of people can't even have any type of sweetness in their diet whatsoever, especially those who suffer from candida and stuff like that. So stevia comes in hand for that. It does get a bit of getting used to.
It does. And with that in mind, sometimes I wonder if it's best to retrain yourself back from sweetness. So rather than going, what more can I put in to make it sweet? Just maybe assess, do you need it to be that sweet? And pull back and pull back and pull back. You shouldn't really need it to be as sweet as stevia if you have an issue with that. When you can put something else in there, like the kumara paste, that sounds... fantastic.
Fruit.
Yeah.
Now, Deanna Hawker, some hearts coming through. Lovely, thank you guys. Deanna Hawker just said, I have a lot of sinus issues. Currently sick right now and have no energy to eat healthy. How/what do you eat when you are already sick or have sinusitis?
Who wants to go? Shall we?
Liquid.
Yes.
Soups. Oh, she doesn't feel like making food.
But a soup is quite nice, and maybe someone could make it for you. So listening to yourself. But the biggest thing I would say is, if you're not going to eat much, make sure what you do eat counts. So no inflammatory foods. So sugar out, wheat out, and probably dairy out. So those are the things that we know generally can cause inflammation. So eating those foods would be a bad idea if you've got mucus and inflammation. Things like broths and soups and casseroles and light, warming, soothing things, ginger, garlic,
turmeric,
vitamins, and herbs and lemon
and Crawford.
What was that?
And self-love.
Self-love.
It's true.
When you're sick, it's time to rest.
Actually, it's amazing the feedback that's coming. Joanna Vincent said, yes, rest and digest is another great one. She also suggested cacao might be a great way to add flavour to coconut, coconut yogurt.
People are getting creative.
And peppermint. You can go cacao and peppermint.
Okay. Yes,
and mint out of the garden, peppermint.
Of course.
Miranda Sophie said, and raw food can be warm as well, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, if you keep it to a certain degree, like 45 degrees is probably the highest you'd want to go, then you keep your enzymes alive.
Perfect.
So that's the whole thing behind eating raw food and unprocessed.
Excellent.
Whole foods.
Deanna Hawker just said thank you, thank you, Deanna. And Miranda Sophie said yacon is a superfood, which is a bonus as well. And she said broths are also really good. Look, this is what we love about the show, is that you guys are all part of this conversation, and it's just
helping
awesome.
us.
Yeah, exactly.
I know, right?
It's really helpful. Keep helping us.
I know, thank you. But it's good to hear what you guys are eating and what works for you. So I really hope that does help you, Deanna, and wishing you a speedy recovery. So just getting back to tonight's topic, we are on the couch talking about gut health. Now, the reason that you're both here is really because you've both been on that journey with Power Clinic. So, you're a graduate of Power Clinic, you're now an instructor there or a tutor, at Power Clinic?
Supervisor.
Supervisor.
Yeah.
And I know that there's a lot of people who didn't even know that the Power Clinic exists. So just very quickly, let's tell people about the amazing care they can get there.
Absolutely. Huge shout out to the Power Clinic. It's a clinic that's been set up as a teaching clinic. So, you know, the teachers are there supervising the students, but the students need people to come and see them. And so it's pretty cool because we've got a full dispensary there, and it's, you know, the latest and greatest of research goes into the clinic. And the children are free, as are the senior citizens, and everybody else in between is highly, highly subsidised. So you're going to get fantastic people like Amy coming and talking to you, finding out what's going on and bringing all of her knowledge to help you. So I can't talk highly enough about the Power Clinic.
Oh, neither can I. And everything is completely supervised as well, so you know you're in good hands. You know, the students are very well trained and educated. And looked after, and even through the tough moments, the tutors are always there.
Wiping away their tears,
Yeah.
making them lemon ginger tea.
Perfect. No, that's what we love.
It's a good team there, and everyone looks after each other. And Power Clinic is really good.
Yeah.
I think it's such a vital part of what natural medicine is doing. It's reaching out into the community and saying, this is really normal. Why wouldn't you come in here and learn how to be healthy? Or, you know, if your child's constantly sick, maybe there's something other than medicating the sickness we can do to lift that child up and get them more healthy. So it's a really good place.
Amazing place. So before we go, I just want to touch on finally what this month's topic is really about, and it is about gut health. And we love having you part of that conversation. But finally, I want to sum up with, what is the gut and what actually is gut health all about? Because you've got this great analogy you were telling me about a wall, right?
Yes, I try and talk in pictures because I'm dealing with a lot of people and I'm saying a lot of stuff all the time.
Yes.
And I find the one that really resounds is when I talk about the gut as a wall, because there's a couple of ways of looking at it. You can think of it as a balloon. So you know a balloon is holding all the air in, but we know that eventually the air is coming to the outside and passing through that membrane. It's a permeable membrane, and you find the floppy balloon sitting on the floor a few days later. That's like a leaky gut. It's like everything's going through.
Wow.
It's not falling apart. It hasn't got holes, but we know it's very permeable now. But I also like to look at the gut like a wall, because there are layers to the gut. So a lot of people come in and go, oh, well, I tried probiotics and I cut gluten out. It's a load of rubbish. I've still got bloating. And that might be because your gut wall is more damaged than you think. So a leaky gut or a dysbiotic gut would be like going into an old flat and you find this wall and it's got black mold on it and wallpaper hanging off, and it really is pretty disgusting. Now, if you're just going to paint it with probiotics, just go paint over that, it's going to look a bit better, it's going to feel a bit better for a moment until that mold comes through again. So we like to work on the muscular layer, and we might use some specific nutrients, which I can't say here, but there are specific nutrients that we use to really enforce the muscular layer. There are nutrients that the middle layer have, and that's to do with your digestive enzymes and all those globular cells that we have in there. And there's also the skin. So we have a skin on the outside and we have a skin on the inside, and we really need to take care of that skin.
Wow.
So we need to peel things back, weed and seed, you know, peel it off, fix it up, put some jib stop in there. Then we might need to put some sealant on, and that might be some digestive enzymes and some, you know, prebiotics, which you've just been showing us tonight. And then finally, when all the work's done, we put some paint on there with the probiotics. And of course, we need to maybe take some things out, like if you've got something rubbing up against that wall that's irritating it, you take that out. You don't keep eating that. So that's it.
So that's
Pretty
how the gut
simple.
works.
Well, that's sort of how it's made and how we heal it.
Wow.
Yeah. Even when you say gut instinct,
Yes,
you know,
of course.
even emotions, everything is just a lot going on in there. So that's actually a really good analogy, though.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot
You
going
can
on.
use that.
Yeah, I think I might.
Yes, actually, Miranda Sophie just said, great analogy. Romina Masidra Lily, hola, chica, ¿cómo estás? She just said, awesome program. Thank you. Thank you to be with us. Jessie Fletcher just said, go Lunette, you are amazing.
Hey, Jessie.
Sarah Hannah just said, do you think fermented foods aid in gut health, and what would you recommend? A good question.
Well, yes. As we were saying before, all these little 1%ers add up. You know, so if you're having a bit of, you know, probiotics and fermented foods in other ways, you're helping it. But like Lunette said, it's almost sometimes you have to strip it all and then start again. Depends what level where you're at with your digestion.
Which layer you're on the ladder.
Exactly.
If you're wobbling around, you're going to do some work. If you're just at the bottom, maybe just changing your diet and adding
tweaking
in some
a few
things.
Yeah,
right.
There's different levels.
Do it yourself.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Jane Wan also said, any ideas for bloating?
So
that's
many.
a big one.
Don't Google it. Stop Googling stuff. You need to see a professional, right?
A lot of reasons why you could be bloated. Like, it's best to come and see one of us in person, and we can go over history and see what's really going on.
Because bloating is an outward sign of something going on the inside. So by the time you've, unless it's just, you know, you had too many lentils tonight and you've gone. But if it's constant every day and you've already maybe looked at different foods, maybe taken a probiotic already, and you've still got it, that's when a naturopath particularly is very, very set up. We're all about gut health. So, you know, save some time and probably save some money and go and see an expert who's going to be able to take your history, like you say, and find out what could be causing it, and then do some therapeutic support for you also.
I love it. Well, ladies, it's been an absolute pleasure having you both in the studio again tonight. And we love having you with us as well. It's great to see your questions. Keep firing them through. Whether you're watching on the Your Fix TV page or you're watching on the My Remedy official page there, keep sending questions through during the week. And if you do have any questions, particularly about gut health, that's what we'll address in our episode next week. So lock it in your diary, 7 p.m. Monday, New Zealand time. We're here with you. It's an interactive live show looking at bite-sized tips on how you can own your health. Now, if you want to find out more about Power Clinic and My Remedy, we've got the details here for you on the screen. Give Power Clinic a call. They have incredibly good rates. They have subsidised fees, and you can talk to the naturopaths in training who are in their final stages before they jump out into the world. There's their phone number and their website for the South Pacific College of Natural Medicine. Over there on the right, if you want to have a chat with one of the beautiful team members from Lunette's team at My Remedy, give them a call, 09486 2175, or head to the myremedy.co.nz website to find out more. And a big thank you to South Pacific College of Natural Medicine for sponsoring our show. We love you guys. We actually do. Not even kidding.
Very much.
So thank you. We're here from Your Fix TV. It's an honour to have you here. Keep checking out our other shows. Tuesday night, we're cooking with Ray McVinney. We do a whole bunch of things. And Monday night's all about you and your health. So thanks for watching. Now, please feel free to share the show or be part of the show. Send us your questions. Tell us, what do you want to see? Every month we focus on a different topic relating to your health. Share the show and make sure you visit the businesses or the websites of our partners. Because this is Health Bites, bite-sized pieces of health and wellness information so you can own your health. I'm Monique Bradley. Thanks to Lunette Hill and Amy Lynn from My Remedy. We'll see you next week.
See you later, Monique.
Bye. Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.